There are no so-called death panels, an offensive notion to me and to the American people. These are phony claims meant to divide us. And since this plan emerged only with a credible threat of U.S. military action, we will maintain our military posture in the region to keep the pressure on the Assad regime. These reforms, among others, will make our military commissions a more credible and effective means of administering justice. And I will work with Congress and members of both parties, as well as legal authorities across the political spectrum, on legislation to ensure that these commissions are fair, legitimate, and effective. What we have then is a credible plan that is full of promise. But the problem is, I couldn't find credible economists who would back up the claims that you just made. Now, I want to acknowledge the progress that has been made, including strengthening anti-corruption efforts, improving governance at provincial and district levels, and progress towards credible parliamentary elections later this year. Of course, the UN Security Council called for was a credible, transparent investigation that met international standards. And
in addition, the Sudanese must ensure that the popular consultations in Blue Nile and Southern Kordofan states are inclusive, timely, and credible.
There was a decision made by the Electoral Council to review the vote in its entirety and to ask some outside observers to come in who are not only credible but knowledgeable.
the military has served patriotically and responsibly as a caretaker to the state, and will now have to ensure a transition that is credible in the eyes of the Egyptian people. But the march to isolate Israel internationally and the impulse of the Palestinians to abandon negotiations will continue to gain momentum in the absence of a credible peace process and alternative. The Transitional National Council established itself as a credible representative of the Libyan people.
En tout cas, au terme de cette visite, je voudrais réitérer mes remerciements au président et lui assurer qu'il trouvera toujours en la Tunisie un ami sincère et crédible.
At any rate, at the end of this visit, I would like to reiterate my thanks to President Obama and assure him that in Tunisia he will always find a credible and sincere friend.
Merci.
For the first time in decades, Tunisians, Egyptians, and Libyans voted for new leaders in elections that were credible, competitive, and fair. That includes building credible government institutions, establishing rule of law, ending ethnic conflicts, and ensuring that the people of this country have access to greater education, health care, and economic opportunity. But if you look at what's needed in order for us to stabilize our budget, stabilize our deficit to GDP ratio, our debt to GDP ratio, then every credible economist will tell you that you can't just do it on spending cuts. And that's not a credible way to run this government. We